chosen one, you are moving through a profound season of transformation, in which old things are gradually leaving you to make room for a way of living that is more peaceful, clear, and steadfast. There are days when you wake with a heaviness you do not know how to name. At other times, a powerful surge of energy suddenly rises within you, urging you to put everything back in order, to move away from the habits that have exhausted you, and to begin a new journey. Do not be quick to fear or assume that you are becoming weak. I have placed Archangel Michael beside you as a sign of courage, protection, and unwavering faith. He is the faithful messenger who carries out my will, reminding you that in times of change, what you need most is not to run faster, but to stand more firmly, listen more deeply, and move forward with wisdom. I know that you have prayed for renewal. Many times, you have longed for another door to open, for old cycles to end, and for enough strength not to return to what once wounded you. Yet, my beloved child, true change does not occur only in your outward circumstances. Before you can step into a new season, something within you must be reordered. The thoughts that once caused you to doubt yourself need to be brought into the light. The sadness you have hidden for too long needs to be acknowledged. The walls you built out of fear of being hurt need to be opened through trust and awareness. This is why there are moments when you feel more sensitive, more emotional, or more inclined to be alone. It does not mean that you are failing. Perhaps you are simply realizing that you can no longer continue living according to the same rhythm that has left you depleted. I want you to understand that your body, your mind, and your spiritual life are not separate parts. When you carry stress for too long, swallow the words you need to speak, or try to appear strong while inwardly exhausted. Your whole being bears that weight. Therefore, the need to rest is not always laziness. Sometimes, it is a reminder that you need to return to balance. Sufficient sleep, a nourishing meal, a slow walk, a quiet period without noise, or a sincere prayer can all become ways of caring for the gift of life I have given you. Faith does not ask you to disregard your body. On the contrary, wisdom teaches you to listen to your limits, to stop before you are entirely drained, and to seek appropriate care when fatigue, pain, or unusual symptoms persist. I do not want you to use spiritual language to cover something that needs to be addressed with responsibility and discernment. There are burdens you have carried for so long that you have begun to believe they are part of who you are. You became accustomed to worrying before anything happened. You grew used to guessing what others thought of you. You learned to blame yourself for the past, even for things beyond your control. You have lived too long in a defensive posture, always preparing for another cold word, another departure, or another disappointment. But now I am gently teaching you to lower your shoulders. Not every day is a battle. Not everyone who approaches you intends to hurt you. Not every delay is a rejection. Not every closed door is a declaration that you are unworthy. Sometimes, something ends simply because it has fulfilled its purpose. Sometimes, an empty space appears so that you can see what truly deserves to be preserved. When old memories return, do not rush to drive them away, but do not allow them to pull you back into a place you have already left. Regard them as pages reopened, so that you may read them with a more mature heart. In the past, you may have seen only betrayal, but today you may recognize a lesson about boundaries. Before you saw only loss, but now you may understand the value of release. Once you saw only that you had been left behind, but today you may realize that I was quietly keeping you from a path that no longer suited you. I am not saying that what happened was insignificant. I know it once made you weep in silence and question your own worth. Yet I also know that you are no longer the person you were yesterday. You have learned how to rise again. You now understand the difference between love and dependence, between kindness and exhausting yourself, and between forgiveness and continuing to allow others to cross your boundaries. Forgiveness does not mean denying your pain or calling what was wrong acceptable. Forgiveness is your refusal to let the past continue ruling your emotions, your choices, and your future. There are people you may need to forgive from a safe distance. There are relationships you do not need to return to, yet you can still desire peace for both of you. There are apologies you may never receive, but you still have the right to move forward without carrying bitterness. And there is another person you must learn to forgive more deeply: yourself. You have blamed yourself for trusting the wrong person, remaining too long, failing to see the signs sooner, or not being as strong as you wished to be. Yet, my beloved child, at that time you could only choose according to the understanding you possessed. You do not need to use today's maturity to condemn your former self. Look upon the person you were then with tenderness. That person was trying to survive, trying to love, and doing the best they could with what they knew. The transformation through which I am leading you is not about becoming a completely unfamiliar person. It is the process of returning more closely to the authentic person I created you to be. Someone who knows how to love without losing themselves, give without disregarding their limits, remain humble without diminishing their worth, and be strong without closing their heart. You do not need to prove your growth by enduring more of what is breaking you down. Neither must you prove your faith by smiling constantly while sorrow fills your heart. Honesty before me is more precious than any appearance of perfection. Speak to me when you are tired. Admit when you are afraid. Ask for help when you can no longer carry everything alone. I am not ashamed of your vulnerability. It is often in the places where you are most honest that genuine support begins to reach you. When the energy within you changes, use it to build rather than to rush. There will be days when you want to do many things. Change everything at once and remove every source of discomfort from your life. Yet lasting renewal is not created by one impulsive moment. It is formed through small choices repeated with awareness. Today you may go to bed a little earlier. Tomorrow you may stop speaking one cruel sentence against yourself. On another day you may refuse to participate in a conversation filled with negativity. Then you may spend time with someone who makes you feel respected. You may learn something new, complete an unfinished responsibility. Reorganize your room, care for your health, manage your finances more wisely, and keep a promise you made to yourself. These quiet actions may not astonish others, but they are creating a firm foundation for your future. I do not promise that everything will change in a single night, but I want you to believe that every step in the right direction matters. Some results require time. Some wounds need many seasons before their pain begins to soften. Some habits must be replaced gradually. Do not compare your journey with that of others, for you do not know what they have endured, and they do not know how hard you have fought. Be grateful for small progress. Be grateful for the day you did not react as you once would have. Be grateful for the moment you chose silence instead of conflict. Be grateful for the instant you realized that you deserve to be treated with kindness. Be grateful that although you have been tired, You have not abandoned your desire to live more beautifully. Gratitude does not erase hardship, but it opens your eyes to recognize that even amid imperfect days, much is still being healed. Michael stands as an image of the courage I desire to awaken within you. Not cold rigidity, but the ability to preserve your peace while making difficult choices. At times, you will need the courage to say no. At other times, you will need the courage to apologize. Sometimes, you must be brave enough to leave a place that is no longer healthy. At other times, you will need courage to remain, persevere, and repair what is still worthy of being preserved. My protection does not always appear by removing every trial. Often, I protect you by giving you the discernment to recognize what does not belong in your life, the strength to establish boundaries, and the calmness not to make decisions while being swept away by emotion. When you live consciously, lovingly, and responsibly, you are cooperating with my guidance. Therefore, do not resist every change merely because it makes you uncomfortable. Ask yourself what needs to be released, what needs to be cared for, and what needs to begin again. Perhaps you need to let go of the habit of speaking harshly to yourself. Perhaps you must stop seeking approval from people who have never truly seen you. Perhaps you need to apologize to someone you have hurt. Perhaps you must return to your family with a gentler attitude. Perhaps you need to learn how to rest without guilt. Or perhaps you simply need to begin each morning with a word of gratitude, reminding yourself that today is another opportunity to live more kindly than yesterday. I am calling you out of stagnation, but not through fear or pressure. I call you through love. You do not need to run in order to prove that you are worthy. You only need to move forward with honesty, patience, and determination. Release what is making you bitter. Forgive others so that your heart may be free, and forgive yourself so that you may advance without being held by the past. Courageously change what you clearly know is no longer good. Seek help when you need it. Protect the peace I am planting within you. Live so that your words bring encouragement. Your presence creates a sense of safety, and your choices reflect compassion. After all these inward changes, return to the quietest place within your heart and breathe slowly. You do not need to understand everything today. You do not need to complete your entire journey in a single day. As long as you continue choosing light instead of bitterness, gratitude instead of complaint, and hope instead of surrender, you are moving forward. I am near you in every small step, in every new beginning, and in every decision that moves toward what is good. Lift your head, my beloved child. A more peaceful, discerning, and loving person is being formed through each day of your perseverance. Live with kindness, remain humble, care for yourself, love others wisely, and believe that your future can be built through the good choices you begin making today. You are being led into a deeper level of awareness, where you no longer accept everything merely because it is familiar, nor allow the noise around you to decide what deserves to remain in your life. I am teaching you to look more carefully, listen more deeply, and perceive through awareness rather than reacting out of habit. Archangel Michael, the faithful messenger and protector, who carries out my will, stands as a symbol of courage and clarity, reminding you that true strength is not found in opposing everyone, but in recognizing what brings peace, what drains you, what should be welcomed, and what should be released. As your discernment grows, you will begin to see clearly what was once hidden beneath haste, fear of rejection, or the desire to please others. This is not the time for you to become harsh toward life. It is the time to learn how to live selectively, with boundaries and responsibility for the peace I have entrusted to you. As everything around you changes, I do not want you to become like a leaf carried away by every wind. I want you to become someone who knows how to preserve peace, even in uncertain days. Today someone may treat you warmly, and tomorrow they may become distant. A carefully prepared plan may suddenly need to change. A door you have long awaited may remain closed, or a road that once seemed certain may reveal many unexpected turns. These things may make you sad or confused, but they do not have to determine how you will live. Archangel Michael, the faithful messenger, protector, and executor of my will, reminds you of a kind of courage that requires no display, the courage to remain upright when circumstances become unstable. The courage not to lose yourself merely because others change, and the courage to continue believing in goodness, even when you cannot yet see the entire road ahead. I am teaching you to stand firmly without becoming rigid. True steadfastness does not mean rejecting everything new, refusing to listen, or always assuming that you alone are right. A mature person can change their mind upon recognizing something better, adjust their plans when circumstances require it, and receive feedback without feeling that their worth is being threatened. Look at a great tree on a day of strong wind. Its branches still move, its leaves still tremble, and sometimes a few dry limbs must fall. But the tree does not lose its life, because its roots reach deeply into the ground. You need roots like these. They are love that does not depend upon applause, honesty that does not change according to advantage, kindness that does not disappear when you are wounded, and faith that does not collapse merely because you must wait longer than expected. When these values become your foundation, one criticism will no longer cause you to question your entire worth. Nor will you need constant praise in order to feel valuable. You will understand that you can receive what others say, keep what is true, and release what does not reflect reality. Some people will understand you. Others will misunderstand you. Some may appreciate you while you conform to their expectations. But when you begin setting boundaries, they may no longer be pleased. Do not become bitter because of this. You cannot control how others respond, but you can choose how you respond to them. Say what needs to be said calmly. Correct yourself when you are wrong. Leave an argument when its only remaining purpose is to cause harm. And when you know that you have lived uprightly, allow time to clarify what your words cannot explain. I am also expanding your inner capacity, but this does not mean that you must carry every additional burden. I am not teaching you to become someone who always says yes while slowly becoming empty within. Growth is not proven by being so busy that you have no room to breathe, nor is it measured by how many people you can satisfy. Some responsibilities genuinely belong to you, but there are others you have accepted only because you feared disappointing someone. Some people truly need your support, while others have become accustomed to handing their responsibilities to you because they know you struggle to refuse. I want you to learn the difference. Greater capacity is not a bottomless storehouse into which everyone may place what they do not wish to carry. Greater capacity is the ability to manage what has been entrusted to you wisely, knowing what to receive, what to share, and what to release. When you possess a healthy capacity, you can receive good things without destroying your balance. You can enter a new responsibility while still making time to rest. You can care for others without neglecting yourself. You can succeed in your work without sacrificing peace, precious relationships, or integrity. You can love deeply without turning love into dependence. You can open your heart while maintaining boundaries. This is what I desire, not a life so crowded that you can no longer hear your own heart, but an ordered life in which every good thing is placed where it belongs. There is still a part of you that becomes confused when receiving sincere love. You have grown accustomed to striving, proving yourself, and being useful before feeling worthy of appreciation. Therefore, when someone treats you kindly without demanding anything, you become suspicious. When someone praises you, you quickly dismiss it or assume they are merely being polite. When an opportunity appears, you fear that you are not good enough, then delay or convince yourself that it was never meant for you. I see these reactions, and I do not condemn you. They often developed during years, when you were not valued properly, through moments when your trust was wounded, or through words that made you believe that you were always lacking. Yet I want to heal the way you receive, so that you can welcome goodness with gratitude instead of fear. You do not need to make yourself smaller in order to continue fitting into your past. If you once knew only scarcity, that does not mean you must distrust every good thing. If you were once abandoned, that does not mean everyone will leave. If a former opportunity ended badly, you do not need to carry that failure into every new beginning. Allow each new person to be seen according to the way they actually live, each new door to be considered with awareness, and each new day to carry the possibility of writing a different story. You do not need to be naive, but do not allow old wounds to turn caution into a lock that closes every door. Your capacity is also being expanded through the way you face your emotions. In the past, a single unanswered message may have caused you to wonder what you had done wrong. A delay may have made you believe that every hope had collapsed. One cold look may have burdened your entire day. I do not blame you for having been so sensitive. Yet now I am teaching you to create a pause before reacting. That pause is not suppression, it is space for wisdom to enter. Before concluding that you have been rejected, you can ask whether you truly understand the whole situation. Before speaking out of anger, you can consider whether your words will heal or deepen the wound. Before leaving a relationship because of a misunderstanding, you can choose an honest conversation. Within that pause, you reclaim the right to choose. You are no longer a prisoner of immediate reactions. And you no longer allow one moment of pain to determine something you may regret for many days. You learn to name an emotion without allowing it to become your master. You may say, "I am sad," without believing that everything is over. You may admit, "I am angry," without using anger to hurt someone else. You may recognize, "I am afraid," while still choosing one small courageous step. Emotions are visitors that deserve to be heard, but not every visitor should be given the keys to govern the entire house. I know you wish you could change more quickly. You look at your old reactions and become disappointed whenever they return. At times, you promised to be calmer, yet still acted impulsively. Sometimes, you decided to establish a boundary, but one plea caused you to give in. There were moments when you believed you had released the past, only for an unexpected memory to make your heart ache again. My beloved child, growth is not a straight line that always moves upward. There are days when you walk very steadily, and there are days when you must return to a lesson you thought you had completed. This does not erase the progress you have made. Each time you recognize a pattern sooner, apologize more quickly, or refuse to let one mistake grow into a chain of harmful choices, you are maturing. Do not use one vulnerable moment to deny your entire journey. Someone learning to walk may stumble, but the stumble does not mean their legs are not becoming stronger. The same is true for you. Look at the small things you could not do before. Perhaps you now know how to pause before answering in anger. Perhaps you have begun saying no without offering endless explanations. Perhaps you have stopped seeking approval from someone who always made you feel inadequate. Perhaps, after making a mistake, you no longer spend many days condemning yourself. These changes are not loud, but they are evidence that a new foundation is being built. Lasting renewal often appears in very ordinary things. It is found in the way you begin your day without immediately reaching for outside noise. It is present when you choose balanced eating and rest instead of forcing your body to endure until exhaustion. It can be seen in the way you organize your time, keep your promises, and refuse to let procrastination steal your self-respect. It is reflected in the people you choose to remain near, the conversations you allow to continue, and the content you consume every day. Each small decision is like a stone placed on the ground. One stone may not form a road, but many stones placed in the right direction will lead you to an entirely different place. I am preparing you for the future, not through guarantees that encourage fantasy, but by making you steady enough to receive what truly suits you. Good things may arrive as an opportunity to study, a new job, a trustworthy friendship, a respectful relationship, or a peace you once thought impossible. They may also arrive in very simple forms. A morning when you awaken without being ruled by old memories, a conversation you can move through without losing yourself, or the ability to look in the mirror without seeing only what you lack. I do not want you merely to wait for something dramatic to appear. I want you to recognize that inner freedom is itself a precious gift. A blessing is not only what is placed into your hands. Often, the blessing is the person you become while waiting. As you mature, what you receive will be less likely to become a burden. You will know how to use opportunity without becoming arrogant, receive love without becoming possessive, have more while remaining grateful, and carry success without losing your kindness. If you receive something great before a foundation has been built within you, that very thing may cause you to lose your direction. Therefore, I care not only about what you possess, but about the kind of person you will become when you possess it. Release your need to know the entire story before beginning to move forward. Some things become clear only after you have already traveled a certain distance. If you demand to see every turn before taking a step, you will remain where you are. I am not asking you to be blind. I am asking you to trust the nearest step. Today you can correct one habit. Today you can offer an apology. Today you can rest without accusing yourself. Today you can leave a conversation filled with negativity or return to complete something you abandoned. A beautiful future does not always begin with a dramatic decision. Often, it begins with one small choice made in honesty. Purify what you allow to enter your inner world. Not every word you hear deserves to be believed. Not every image you see deserves to remain in your mind. Not every conversation deserves your energy. Some forms of content leave you anxious, comparing yourself, or filled with anger, yet you continue consuming them because it has become a habit. Have the courage to set them down. Peace does not come only from solving every problem. Sometimes It comes from no longer adding noise to a place that is already exhausted. Seek words that nourish hope, people who speak truth with compassion, and spaces where you are allowed to breathe. When something continually drains you, examine it calmly. Do not cut it away impulsively in anger, but do not keep enduring merely because you fear change. Ask whether it can be repaired through conversation, whether a new boundary is needed, or whether you should step away for a time. Do not build boundaries from hatred. A healthy boundary does not say, "I want you to hurt as you hurt me." It says, "I can no longer participate in something that is making both of us worse." You can protect your peace without turning another person into an enemy. Forgive those who once failed to appreciate you. Perhaps they acted from their own wounds and limitations. Forgiveness does not mean denying what was wrong, nor does it require you to return to your previous place. Forgiveness means no longer allowing yesterday to control today. I also want you to forgive yourself. You once remained too long, said yes when something within you wanted to say no, and searched for love in places that gave you only uncertainty. Yet you do not need to use today's understanding to condemn who you were then. At that time, you did the best you could with what you knew. Now you know more, so you can choose differently. My beloved child, the deepest strength is often very quiet. It does not need to speak loudly in order to be believed. It is seen when you refuse to retaliate. Even though you could, refuse to belittle others to elevate yourself, and refuse to compromise what is right, merely to escape loneliness. Continue to be gentle, for gentleness supported by boundaries is not weakness. Continue to be discerning, for discernment held together by compassion does not make you cold. Remain grateful, not because everything unfolds according to your wishes, but because even amid imperfection, you still have opportunities to learn, repair, and begin again. You do not need to compare the pace of your growth with anyone else's. Another person may move more quickly in one area while still learning a lesson you have already overcome. You also have parts of your journey that require more time. Respect your own path. Do not hurry merely to keep pace with others, and do not make yourself small because you are afraid of being seen. I am with you every time you choose peace instead of chaos, truth instead of pretending, and kindness instead of bitterness. Each day you live this way, your roots grow deeper and your inner capacity expands a little more. Therefore, lift your head and continue forward. Courageously change the habits that are keeping you bound to the past. Release the relationships that now nourish only pain. Apologize where you have been wrong. Forgive where you have been wounded. And do not forget to extend compassion to yourself. I do not demand that you become perfect before you can be loved. I ask only that you keep a heart willing to learn, hands willing to do good, and a will that knows how to return whenever you lose your way. Then, after every effort, slow down, breathe deeply, and be grateful that you have been given another day to live more beautifully. Let peace become the place to which you return, gratitude become the way you look at life, and hope become the light guiding every step. You do not need to prove that you are strong by never becoming tired. You only need to know how to rest and rise again. You do not need to prove that you are right by winning every argument. You only need to live so that your choices bring integrity and healing. Continue loving, continue growing, and continue doing what is good, even when no one is watching. I am near you in these quiet steps, and it is through such small things that a more peaceful, wiser, and steadier person is gradually being formed.